Welcome. In this tutorial, we will review how to include the physically updated transactions in the weighted average recalculation. By using this option, we could include the physically updated transactions, or in simple words, the transactions that have been only received or not invoiced yet in the recalculation process of the weighted average items. It's important to mention that this option only supported the inventory recalculation. So in inventory closing, it's not supported, as inventory closing is only consider the financially updated transactions. This feature is available since application version 10.0.41 and it's managed by the Feature Management Workspace. First, I'll navigate to the Feature Management Workspace and ensure that this feature is enabled. Recalculation for weighted average cost including physical transaction. When the feature is enabled, then it's time for the item model group configurations. Here I've created two item model groups to compare the behavior of both of them. Both item model groups are managed by inventory model weighted average. When the item model group is weighted average, then here you will notice that we have a new option, include physical value in weighted average recalculation. For the first item model group, here indeed set the option of include physical value to yes, but the include physical value in weighted average recalculation no, where the second one I've enabled this option. For this demo, I've created two items and then performed some of the inventory transactions. Let's review them first before running the inventory recalculation. So here I have the first item where the item model group, I've marked this option, include physical value in weighted average recalculation, where the second item is not enabled. So here, looking into the item model group, include physical value in recalculation is not marked. Then first, I've created the first purchase order for the two items where the unit price is 100. Then I've performed sales order invoice. So far at this moment, the COGS or the issue costs of these two transactions will be 100. Then I've created a new purchase order where the unit price is 200. So going back to the items and check the inventory transactions. So here we can see this is the first item. Both of them should be identical. So here we have the first purchase. We have the first purchase order 100, then the sales order cost 100, and then the second purchase order 200. The same for the second item. Here we have the first purchase order 100, cost is 100, and then the second purchase order is 200. Now, I just performed an inventory recalculation for the two items. Let's go back to the inventory transactions and review the impact of the inventory recalculation. I'll start by the first item where the option is not marked. Since this option is not marked, then the system will work as usual. So the system will only consider the financially updated transactions in order to calculate the weighted average. So looking into the inventory transactions, here we have the only financially updated transactions for the purchase orders, and the cost is 200. So I'd expect right now, after click refresh, that the system will recalculate or adjust the sales order cost price from 100 and will make it 200. So I'll click here refresh. And here in the sales order, here we can see the cost amount is 200. And as expected, the system performed an adjustment by 100. Moving to the second item where the option is included and I would expect that the physically updated transactions will be included as well as the financially updated transactions in the inventory recalculation. So again, here we have two purchase order transactions. One is financially updated, this one purchased by 200, and the second one is only physically updated transactions by 100. So 100 plus 200, 300 divided by 2, then the weighted average will be 150. So I'd expect that the sales order will be adjusted and the cost became 150. So I'll click here, refresh, and as expected, the sales order cost amount became 150 and the transaction has been adjusted by 50. As highlighted earlier, this feature only supports the inventory recalculation and it doesn't support the inventory closing. Inventory closing, as usual, will only consider the financially updated transactions. Here I just performed an inventory closing. Let's go back to the inventory transactions and review the impact. So here, this is the first item where the option is included. So let's here click refresh. Then let's review what we have. Here we can see the cost amount became again 200. 200 because the system won't include the physically updated transaction, the first one. And if we look here into the value open, then we can see the system closed these two transactions. So the system settled this issue transaction of the sales order against the second purchased or financially updated transactions. And if I'll go here to this item and I'll click refresh, this item won't be impacted since the cost amount originally considered only the financially updated transactions. And looking into the value open, we can see both transactions have been settled against each others.